Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey guys.
Hi, Emily. Today we will, check the homework.
Yes, we will.
Oh, okay. So as I take the picture, you can through the screen, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you.
So, hi guys. So it's a new class. I think most of you guys did your homework, but a lot of people didn't follow instructions, and then I will have to talk about that a bit. So last time, before we left last class, I left you guys a homework of drawing the human body performing a task. And I listed out some tasks, such as picking up an item, drinking, reading, playing a sport, looking for something, cleaning, drawing, or painting. And I told you guys to try and pick one from it to draw, and a lot of you guys did not follow the instructions. A lot of you guys did, which is good. But for those of you who didn't follow the instructions, I'll still look at your homework, but this is just for this class. Next time, if you don't follow the instructions, I won't look at it. Okay, make sure you listen to what I'm saying in class, and make sure you follow the instructions. And also last class, I noticed that people were chatting in the chat, so now I turned off the chat. You can still message me on the Zoom chat, but you can't message everybody publicly anymore. So if you have any questions, you can still just directly message me on the Zoom chat or on WeChat. But when I have screen share on, I won't be able to see the Zoom chat. That's one thing. So I'd prefer if you guys would turn off your mic and speak if you have something to show me or if you have something to ask. So I will start with the homework. And then because this homework is, the purpose of it is so that, the purpose of it being due right now, and for me to look over it in classes so that everybody can learn from each other's mistakes. And then because we'll have some common mistakes and mutual things to do. So I'm going to go through the ones that I have received on WeChat. If I have missed yours or if you didn't send it, please send it again when I'm done with the ones that I have now. Okay, I'll just start here. So I also had some in-class assignments, and for the in-class assignments, I'd really prefer if you guys would actually complete it in class and show it to me in class. If you absolutely can, I can be marking those and criticizing, giving critique to those after class times, but like I don't want to overwork, and then that's just I'd really prefer if you guys would participate, interact, and do the in-class exercises in class. All right, so you guys see the spotlight video? This is the one that I'm going to start with. I'm looking at the pictures like this on WeChat, so I can't tell who sent the image. So please pay attention. If it's yours, please listen, okay? Please pay extra attention, but even if it's someone else's, you can still learn from their mistakes. So for this one, overall, it's not bad. It's pretty good. The task that you picked is doing a sport, which is, in this case, it's dancing. And then a few of the most obvious things that I'm noticing right now is the elbow, the bend of the elbow. The elbow does bend backwards if you extend it. If you extend it out further, but this is a bit too much, and it's to the point that it's unnatural. Another thing is over here, there is a rib cage, and then under the rib cage we have the pelvis. And then between the rib cage and the pelvis, we actually need a little space. And then over here, the entire body is just rib cage and right away pelvis. And now we're missing that little bend there. And then the butt should be a bit lower. But overall, it's not bad. It's not bad. Okay, this one, I think it's reading. It's kind of a, I guess it's kind of a strange pose for reading, but I think it's like performing or reading out loud. I do see a book. One thing is I do suggest you guys, even if it's hard, I know hands are really hard, but even if it's hard, I suggest you do at least try to draw out the hands properly. Right now it's kind of left blank here, or kind of left as a ball here. The face, I'm going to get into it this class, so you don't have to worry about that for now. First off is the hand, and then second off is the torso. The torso right here, I know she's wearing a shirt and it's partly covered. This torso right here is in quite an odd shape. It's missing a waist, and then even if she's wearing a shirt, some of the structures is missing. So for example, if I do extend, the hips, and then I want to make a waist, I'll probably form a shape like this, and then this bulge here is quite weird. So this leg should be extending somewhere from here. So when you're drawing overlaps, and then when you're drawing clothing, you usually want to start by thinking about what the naked body will look like first before you add on the clothing, or else you can easily make mistakes. Okay, next one. This one, I got a copy that is shaded. But for this one, first things first, it did not follow instructions. You didn't pick a task from the list that I gave you. And then second off, there is a lot of problems with the anatomy. So the purpose of this assignment was to try and follow the realistic human proportions. And then for this one, the head size isn't bad, but a lot of the other things, the proportions are not followed. For example, the arm is very, very short. For this one, if you extend it, if I extend this one based on this pivot point, I extend it here, and then I want to extend this length here, it will barely even reach the leg, and we actually want the hand to reach around here. Same with this one. Even if I extend it here, it will only reach a little bit past the leg when we actually want it to be here. So the arms are very, very short. That's one thing. And then another thing is we learned about the joints of movement. So the joints are the places on your body that moves. Your elbow is the joint that moves, not this part. This is a bone and not the part above it. Same with the leg. Your knee is the part that bends and moves, not this part and not this part. This is a bone and it doesn't move. It's not a joint. Okay? Okay, for this one again, one is you didn't follow any of the prompts that I gave. I don't think so. And another thing is, so you have to follow instructions. And another thing is, I did say that this assignment we're trying to follow realistic human proportions. And then this one on many levels is very cartoony. We're gonna get into stylizing and character design later. But the purpose of this assignment for now is to still stick to realistic human proportions. So of course, the first things is the head is too big. And then these arms, it's a similar problem as the one I've talked about before, which is you haven't considered what the naked or like the clothingless arm will look like before you added the shirt on, which will mean that the elbow looks really awkward. So if I extended this one, the forearm is insanely long and the upper arm is too short. And then this one too. Overall, the size of the arm is really long. Last one it was too short, but this time it's too long. So if I extend it, rotate it around this pivot point, and then I add on this length, it goes past the knee. And we want it to reach around the middle of the thighs. So also the leg is too short and the arm's too long, and basically the proportion isn't following the realistic human proportions. And that is a problem. All right, for this one, it's overall well done. I think you later, it's really well done. Later you sent a copy that doesn't have a face, which is fine because we're gonna get to the face later. For this one, I can tell that you use references, and then that's fine. And then there are still a few problems that we can improve upon this. So one thing is, the leg is a bit thick, in regards to this length, okay? That is one thing. And also over here, there is a bend just as the arm. there is a bend if you straighten the leg that goes upward a bit. I think you're exaggerating it a bit too much. Or like, even if you're not exaggerating it because you're looking at you're looking at it from a photo, even if it does appear so on the photo, this doesn't look right in drawing. So it's something that you want to actively know and fix as you're drawing it. But overall, good job. Okay, this one is the previous one just shaded, and I've already talked about it. And then this one too, again, it is doing a sport, and then the sport is dancing, and that's fine. But there are proportion things that we want to fix. First off, this arm is a lot shorter than this arm. So if I extend it, like this, you can tell that this one is way longer. And then this one is a lot shorter. And then if I put this leg down, to be also touching the floor as the other leg about this length. And then I extend the arm down around the pivot point. It's too long, the arm is too long, and the leg is too short. And I think these two legs, this one, when extended, it appears to look a lot longer than this one. So even when the body is in motion, you have to make sure that the limbs are in proportion. Another thing is the head. I'm going to get into the head a bit more today, as I said before. But the head, the shape of the head is a bit awkward. And also the neck, it should actually extend a bit backwards. The neck doesn't extend from the face, the neck extends from the middle of the head, the entire head. All right, next. This one, this one I see you have done a really big perspective on it, on the feet especially. So there's a really big perspective on it, and then that is okay. But I think for now, for our purposes, you shouldn't be doing that yet. Because one reason is I don't think you're completely comfortable with drawing the human figure yet. And another reason is because this assignment, the purpose of it is to draw the human figure properly from a realistic kind of proportion. I think this is kind of avoiding kind of not really emphasizing the point. That's one thing, but overall, I do think you put effort into it, and I think it's generally well done. But still, I'd prefer if you didn't attempt to try really big perspective shifts as of yet. This leg, because of the perspective, I can't really tell what your intention on the length is. But if you look at this one, when the perspective is more similar to the rest of the body, this leg will appear to be too short if you extend it out. It's a tad bit short. And over here, there's a rib cage and a waist, and then it's the butt. And you're kind of ignoring the waist. It's not a huge problem, but the waist should be there. Okay. Next off, this one. So this one, it is doing this for a few things. You're forgetting the neck. If the head is here, there should be a neck. The elbow, so if this is the torso, you're forgetting the waist. Even if it's wearing a shirt, there should still be a waist. And then the leg should start a bit higher, around here. And the joint of the knee, if you're drawing it like this, the joint of the knee, use a ball shape. And then the legs use a cylinder. So it's like a tube, right? Or like a long water bottle. And over here, don't forget the ankle joint, and the feet is too small. The feet should be, I said a wedge of cheese, or like a shape like this. It should be kind of a thin and long wedge. And then in this case, if you extend the arm around this pivot point, you rotate it down here, it's a tad bit short. It should reach around here. Okay, for this one, this one I can also tell that you referenced photos, especially for the shirt and for the feet. And then that is fine, but there are still things. The face, first off, the face, it has some problems, but I'm not going to talk about it right now because the purpose is not the face. But also there are a few more problems such as that you should be fixing, such as even if it's what you're seeing from the picture, there are things that is captured in pictures that are actually not how we would perceive it or what is comfortable to look at with the eye. So a few things is like that, such as this person's torso. Because the shirt is really loose, we're kind of missing the point. If the waist is here, the belly button should be higher. The belly button right now is here. So the elbow, remember how the elbow is around, tucks in where the waist is. And that's the leg. And then you also added another perspective to the leg, and then that is fine in this case. I think the lower leg here on this leg, it seems really long if I extend it. So if this is the tip, the top of the upper leg should be slightly longer than the lower leg. And then this is the lower leg. The lower leg seems a bit too long. I advise against anyone tracing photos or tracing other people's artworks, okay? It's okay to copy it or to reference it or to put it on the side and look at it. But if you're directly tracing from it, you're not learning that much. Okay, for this one, you even added a background. So one thing is, again, this doesn't really follow realistic human proportions in the sense that the head is very big, looks like a little kid dancing because the head is so big. And another thing over here, this arm, if you extend it to the shoulder here, and then this arm. This one is a lot shorter than this one. And then this one is just overall too short. The leg is actually not bad, like the shape of it is not bad. But if you do extend it, I think the legs are a bit too short as well compared to the torso and the head. This one, you didn't follow instructions. That's one thing. Because it's not doing any of the tasks that I told you to pick from, but I could still critique it. So first off, the neck should be a little longer. Go into the shoulders, the elbow, the placing is not horrible. This one, the placing is way too high. It should be a bit lowered, even if the hand is here, the hand can be joined here. So overall, the arm is too small and too short. The length of the leg is okay. The lower leg and the upper leg, I think the upper leg can be a bit longer and the lower leg a bit shorter, but overall the length of the leg isn't bad. For this one, there's a limited amount of things that I could say about it because one, most of the body, half of the body is covered by the bed. And that's kind of missing the point. So when we're doing an assignment, I will emphasize what the point of doing it is. And then you have to use your own head to see that when you're doing it, if you're actually doing the assignment and learning from the purpose of it. So one thing is it's covered, and another thing is, again, the proportions is very cartoony, the head is very, very big, and the arms very tiny. The torso, I have no idea where it ends, so I can't even say anything about it. And then this one, I think I asked you to redo it on WeChat. I don't know if you did. Okay, this one is good. This one is reading. Overall, it's nice. It's quite nice, but still, the proportions, the head is very big compared to the rest of the body. If we do a head count, it will maybe be like 5 heads. And then we're aiming towards 8, around 8, 7 to 8. That's one thing, but I can tell that you put effort into it, which is good. You even tried to draw the hand, which is good. The elbow here, even when you're getting away from just drawing the body as simple shapes, you can still think of them as simple shapes. The elbow here, it should still be a cylinder, kind of 2 cylinders like that. So the shape is kind of off. The 2 elbows should match. This one is a cylinder. This one is also a cylinder. Over here, you'll have the biceps on top. And the leg is too short compared to the body, the torso. And also it's overall because the head is too big. And the leg, you can see, is gradually getting shorter. The feet is also a bit too small. All right. Overall, not bad. Okay, this one is painting. This one is painting. Overall, the proportions are not bad, but it's not very posy. We want to move the body. However, for this one, you just drew a very straight up and down pose. That's basically standing. And then with one arm that is slightly bent and another arm covered. And then that is again kind of missing the point of the assignment, right? This assignment is for you guys too. We've already drawn the body just standing upright, standing straight. So we want, for this assignment, we want to move the body a little more. The proportion isn't bad, but that's because we've already drawn the human proportion in standing form. And you should know it by now. So the purpose is to move it and to see if you can maintain the proportions and the correct things. And then this one, I think you're a bit missing the point of the assignment. This one is dancing again. First off, head is too big. That is a very common problem. Usually the head is always too big. And that's because when we stylize things, we want to draw the head a bit bigger because we look at a lot of anime or cartoons, and then they usually have bigger heads. But for now, we want to keep the proportions realistic. You're missing the rib cage in the torso. So there's nowhere to put your lungs and your heart and everything. The rib cage is kind of like a ball shape. Like this. Kind of looks like that. Clavicle here. Elbow joints here. And then your spinal cord attaching to the back. So you're missing that. And you're also missing the pelvis after the waist. The pelvis is kind of like a yogurt bucket. A little yogurt cup. And over here, it's kind of like a little yogurt cup like this. And then that's the rib cage attaching to the pelvis. Be careful around where the elbow bends. Again, the joint, your elbow joint is where it bends. You shouldn't be bending here. If it's straight, then the whole arm should be straight. If it's bending, it should only be bending at the elbow part. Same with the leg. The leg looks really confusing as to where it's actually trying to bend. For this one, I think this is the redo after I said the bed one doesn't work. Still, the same problems. One, head is too big. Elbows are very cartoony and too tiny. The torso is fine if you would draw it like this, but the leg in comparison to the torso is very short again, and it's not attached. It's not attached properly like this. When you're drawing clothing, you have to think about what goes on behind the clothes. You have to think about what the naked body looks like. You can't just think about what it looks like after someone has been wearing a shirt. This one is drawing again. It's kind of cute. Did you look in the mirror when you're doing this? Again, it's very cartoony. Head is too big. So if you do a head count, this is one head, and then this is another head, and then this is another head. And then you should only reach about this part at the fourth head. And then you're reaching this part at the third head. And then because the leg is compressed, the leg does look too short to me. And also the feet is kind of small. The two elbows are not the same size. So this one is this long, and then this one is this long. So this one is a lot longer. This is the same one that I've looked at. Again, proportions are too cartoony. It's pretty cute, but we're not doing that right now. We're gonna get to character design later. Next class. Arm is a bit short. There's no waist and no butt, so you want to draw the waist and the butt. There is a foreshortening on the upper leg, and this is fine. The lower leg, this one should appear to be a little longer than this one because this one is in front, but I think you're overdoing it. I think this one looks way too short. This lower leg looks way too short. And then overall, I think the torso and the head is too big for the limbs, and the limbs too small for the torso and the head. So this one I've talked about before, just colored it. This is the newest one that I received. This one is also, oh, it's not the newest one, but it's one of the newer ones. It's also kind of missing the point of posing it. It appears really light on screen, but basically it's just standing straight. And we kind of want to pose the body. In this case, it's just standing straight with one arm extended. And we want to push the pose a bit more that's the purpose of the assignment. The proportions is not bad. The head is actually not that big. It's not too big. The feet is a little small. And the two arms are of different lengths. So this one is here. This one is here. And then this one, if you stop at the wrist and you extend it, it goes down here. This one is relatively okay. So I think this one should be longer. And the feet is too small. This one, did you trace this one from another drawing or from a picture? If you're tracing from something, it is quite obvious. And I said that when you're tracing, you're not learning much. You can look at it as reference. You can put it aside and then draw while looking at it. That is fine. But if you're just putting the layer underneath it and then tracing directly above it, you're too relaxed, and then it's not giving you a lot. So I'm going to, and also this one, you're missing the completely bottom half of the body, and most of the body is covered, so I'm not going to talk about it. All right, this is all that I have. Oh, I got it, one more. So this one, okay.
Hi, sorry, Emily.
Yep.
Shelly just signed it. Did you receive it?
I will.
The last one.
I will check.
You sent it in WeChat?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she just.
Is it in the group?
No, it's done. It's right there.
Yeah,
I'm checking over
this one. Is that right? No. Yeah, this one.
Okay. I'll check over it. I'll go over it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so this one is pretty well done. The head count, the sizes, and the proportions all look pretty good. I think the arm is a little big. It's a tad big. So if the waist is here, this one, if you rotate it from the pivot point, it goes a little bit below. Same with this one, just goes a little bit below. And then the forearm and the hand, if you extend it from this point, it goes a little bit below where we actually want it to be. And then this leg is a bit thicker than this one, if you can look. And then the feet is a little small, but overall it's pretty well done. Good job. Okay, this one, again, I could tell that you probably are looked at some pictures, which is fine, but when you're looking at it, when a person is wearing clothing, you can't just look at the silhouette of it. You do have to think about what goes on, what the actual body is doing and looks like. So for example, if you just draw a silhouette of it, I will have no idea what is going on here. It'll just look like the body kind of attaches right to the leg from the chest area. And that's not right. There should be some overlaps here. So there should be some overlaps over here like that, and then the leg. And also the proportion, head is too big, the rest of the body is really small, the leg is too short. Okay, this one I've said before, this one I've talked about before. And this one, it's also a new one. So this one, again, make sure that your joints are only bending at the joints. It shouldn't be curving or bending at where the bone is. This part is firm, this part is firm. Only at the joint does the body bend. Does the body actually bend? This will just make it look like it has squishy limbs, boneless limbs. And if the elbow is here, then the upper torso is a bit too long. So the waist should go around here. And then right now you have your waist around here. The waist should be higher. And if the waist is higher, it means that your pelvis needs to be raised higher too. So you want to raise this higher as well. The upper leg is fine. The lower leg is very tiny. Even if there's a perspective and it's bending up, it's still very, very tiny. And also the feet still looks really tiny. Okay, that is all I have received to this point. If you didn't send yours yet, if you don't send it within the next few seconds, I'm not gonna look at it anymore, and then I'm gonna go on with my lesson. Are we good? Okay. All right, so that is it for our homework. I'm pretty glad that most people did it. That is good. And every time I do give you guys critique, it's a good idea to take it in and then maybe fix it and redo your homework. If you just do your homework and then you receive the critique, and then you don't actually make any changes, or you don't redo it, or you don't try and fix it, that's kind of missing the point. We grow through trial and error, and we improve like that. So right now, last time we left off here with the human body of performing a task and moving the body. And that's something that I did notice, actually with you guys, I didn't notice as much as with my class from last year, but it's a tendency to draw the body really stiff. Like we know that, you know, you're only supposed to move the body at the joints and then you're supposed to pose it, but it's like a lot of poses are still really straight up and down. Even if it's just not just a standing pose, it's still quite stiff and straight up and down. But the body, there's actually the body is capable of a lot of expressions and a lot of emotions and, you know, a lot of body language that doesn't need a face. So for example, this is the carpet from Aladdin. This is the concept art. Ooh. This is the concept art for the carpet. And then for each one of these, we can take a look at how this it's just carpet that doesn't have a face and doesn't even have a proper body can express things with its body language and with its curves. So for the first one, it's curious. This little carpet is, he noticed something. He's turning around. There's a twist in his body. He's kind of maybe like raising over here, raising one part of his body, kind of like raising a brow. When you're curious, this one is laughing. He's clutching on his stomach area if he has one. He's bending over. He's laughing so hard. And he has one fist, one little hand in the air. This one, excellent. This one is he has his chest puffed up. He has his hands in little fists. His legs are spread apart. It's like this. And then there's a little S curve that goes throughout his body. And then this one is me. This one is like questioning. This one is, I think, is when Aladdin asked the carpet to help them, and the carpet is like, "What, really? You want me?" And it's a mixture of surprise and happiness, and unbelievable. It's like, oh my god! And then he's curving in, he's pointing at himself with his little hands.
Wasn't it both
And then he
laughing?
kind of has his butt stuck up. He's excited. He's jumping up. His hands are spread apart completely. And then he's kicking up his feet as well. There's a strong C curve that's going on throughout his body. This one is thoughtful. He has his weight. So if this is where his head is, he has his weight mainly on this leg. Most of his weight is focused here. And then he has his elbow up, his fingers and hand up to his head, I guess, face, I guess. I'm kind of scratching it and thinking. There's another little S curve, like this, that goes on throughout his body. But right here is dreamy. This is when the carpet was looking at Aladdin and Jasmine when they're on the roof after A Whole New World song. He has his chin propped up against a hand. Another hand is drooping here. And then overall, and then he's kind of laying down, and overall, there's this kind of C curve that goes on through his back. And this is shock. This is quite similar to me, but me is kind of eager. So you can see that he's actually leaning forward and he's like, oh my God, really? And it has happiness. And then for shock, because he wants to, whatever he's shocked by, he kind of wants to avoid it. So then he's leaning backwards. And even though it's both kind of surprise and shock, you can tell that the message that's conveyed by the body and conveyed by the curves that goes through the body is different. It's really interesting. And then this one is another one. This is a flour sack and different expressions expressed in the body of a flour sack. It also doesn't have a face. Actually, in my first year of animation, university first year, we had a lot of assignments where we just have to make a flour sack do things. And then I think I got the assignment where I have to animate a flour sack acting drunk without a face, just with the body, just with a little pillow shape. So this one's Joy. Flour sack is jumping up again. It's kind of like the one in with the carpet too. He's jumping up, he's kicking up his feet. And then there's a little C curve going on throughout his body. So when the flour sack is angry, he's jumping up when he's angry too. But instead of extending his body, he's kind of curling forward, and then he's like raising his fist, shaking it in anger, and then kicking up his leg in anger. This is sad. He's curled up, he's compressed. He leans his head forward, maybe shaking a little bit. This is victorious. He has one leg up on something. He's raising his arm or his fist in victory. This one is proud. Again, a little C curve. See, it looks like a C, backwards C, that goes through his body. And his legs are apart. He kind of has his hands or elbows on his waist. He's quite proud. And this one is scared. There's a little cockroach here. And then he found it beneath his feet. And then he kicked up his feet. And he's trying to avoid it. His whole body is leaning backwards that way. This one is shy. He kind of has his hands together, kind of fumbling with it. And then his feet, if you look at his feet, they're kind of pointing towards each other instead of like pointing apart like this one. It's proud. This one, the whole body is very extended, right? You put the front of your body, you kind of display it out. And then for this one, the shy one, you kind of curve up and then you curl in to yourself when you're shy or you're sad. And this one is relaxed. He has his leg up. He's leaning on a sun chair. This one is determined. He has another C curve. His body, a little fist here. The legs are apart. And this one is laughing. He's laughing so hard that he's like shaking back and, laughing back and forth. And he's kind of waving his hand and punching and maybe stomping his feet a bit because he's laughing so hard. Okay, so you see there are like so many things that you can do with the body to express emotions or to make it seem really lively and expressive and not stiff. And then something that I've talked about that you have seen too, don't know if you realize with all of these poses, is something called a line of motion. So some tips of making the poses more realistic and more lively and less stiff is to first act it out. I've mentioned this last time too. You can look at yourself in the mirror. You can ask your parents or your family to do the action, or you can look for pictures for references and look at pictures too. And then that's something that's really good. So when you see real life people in real situations doing out the action that you want to perform, and then you should observe that. And then that's because that will make it more lively because it's actually observed from life. And here I have looking for a strong line of motion, which is here. So strong line of motion, as you can see here, is something, it's energy, a sense of energy, a sense of motion, a sense of action that carries out through the entire body of a character or a body. And then over here you can see is from Tom and Jerry. And this one, there's this kind of C curve, kind of straight C curve that extends from this leg all the way throughout his body to his head, and then all the way to his arm. And this one is another C curve. He's being punched, and there's a lot of force, and then he's being dragged backwards like this, forming another C curve. And then we saw a lot of other curves with the carpet one too, because it's so well done. For the curious one, there's an S curve. For the laughing one, this is also a C curve, maybe a slight S curve if you count the feet. And this one is also a C curve. And this one is kind of a C or a S. And this one is a C curve. This one is an S curve. This one is also a C curve. And then for the shocked one is an S curve. So try to include a type of a motion curve, a line of action throughout the body that you are drawing. It will make the pose seem, it will add more energy to it. It will usually make the pose seem more energetic, more forceful, and then more lively. So right now we're going to do an exercise. This exercise, when I'm doing it in real life, face to face, it's quite easy. So what I would do is I would draw a line onto your paper or your sketchbook, and then you will have to follow that line that I drew as a line of action, and then create a pose, a full body human pose from it. But because we're online, it's a bit harder. So I'm going to draw 4 different lines on my screen, and then I'll put it up here. And then you guys can pick any line from the 4 lines to try. If you're done one really fast and you have shown me to it, and then I said that it's okay, you can move on to another one, okay? So number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Let me make the canvas a bit bigger. I don't like that for number 3. Let me think. Number 3. And then number 4. Okay? So when you're doing this in-class exercise, I want you guys to do it pretty fast. We know how to draw the body now, and then right now we want to incorporate more motion and more action in it. So then when you're drawing the pose, you should know which line you're picking, maybe label it first, the number first. Again, if you guys do turn on your camera, it's helpful for me because that way I can see your process. If you're doing something wrong, I can point it out. I prefer that. And because last class, a lot of people didn't participate in the in-class things and instead handed in the in-class exercises after class. I don't like that. I would still critique it and, you know, give feedback. Class exercises in class and show it to me in class. It's called in class exercises for a reason. Yeah. Emily?
I have a question.
Yep.
How do you move a drawing out of a stack in Procreate? Because like I accidentally moved some things together and I didn't want to do that.
You just drag it. So if you formed a stack, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
If you formed a group like this, and then you want this layer to be out of the group, you just drag it out.
Oh, it's not like the layers, like a stack in your gallery?
Oh, in the gallery? Sorry, that's all. I can't exit this one right now, so I can't show you right now.
Okay.
But it's also just dragging it.
Okay.
Honestly, if you guys are not yet comfortable with the programs, for the first 6 classes, I'd actually suggest you guys to work off paper. If you're comfortable with the program or if you really want to use digital, then it's fine. But like I don't need you guys. There's absolutely no necessity to use digital for the first 6 classes.
I figured it out. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. So I'll upload the image of these 4 lines onto WeChat, and then I will pick a line myself, and then I will do a demo. So if you need to take a look at these 4 lines, it will be available for you on WeChat. All right, let's start with the first one. You can keep it simple. You don't have to draw clothing or anything. If you want to, you can, but you don't have to. Okay, I did the first one. And then I'm not going to do the second one. You guys don't have to. I'm doing one for each line so far right now. You guys don't have to copy my poses. Actually, I'd rather you guys not and come up with your own.
Thanks, Emily. Yours looks so good.
Thank you. Okay, did another one. Is anyone done? If anyone is already done.
Yeah, Shelly is done.
Yeah? If
She
you're done,
dropped
please
two.
call me.
She draw two. I saw. It's two.
Draw one and then call me. And then I'll check it and then we can go on the next one, okay? Shaylee, I'll check yours first.
Okay. Yes. This is okay, or need to take a picture?
Take a picture. Take a
Okay.
picture and send it. I prefer that.
Send to WeChat. Okay, thank you.
Can we draw using like shapes, or do we have to do it as detailed as yours?
You can draw shapes if you want.
Okay. I'm done. I'm gonna send mine in the WeChat group chat.
Okay. All right. So first things first, I think the upper body is looking pretty good. The leg is too short. So if this is around here is the center of the body, you measure this, and then you measure that. And then even if the leg is extended, it should go a bit further out, right? So overall, both legs are a bit short. The line of action is pretty good. Yeah, you get the point of the assignment pretty well. This arm. So the lower arm being a bit curved this way is fine because the bone itself does curve just a tad up like that, like this. But this one, for it to curve down like this, that's incorrect. Overall, it's good. This one, if I were to draw the line of actions through this body, I'd say it's something like this, which is close, pretty close to what I've given. But the S curve I think could be stronger. But I think for this one you can leave it as it is right now. I think overall it's good. The neck is a bit. So if the face is like this, the ear would be here. Now, even if it's tucked in more, you maybe see the tip of the ear. And then the chin and the jaw. The face would be at this angle. So this is the head, and then this is the face. And this would be the nose. Don't forget the knee. Pay extra attention to the joints. And then feet is okay, it's a tiny bit small. Over here, this part is a bit too long. Because there's a perspective, because this leg is at the back, you can trim this down just a tiny bit shorter. Overall, well done. Good job. Clean. Nice. Overall, you also understand the concept pretty well and you're following the line of action well. I think the arm is a bit short. So if I extend this around this pivot point. I think it's reaching about here. It's not bad. It's a tiny bit short. It's not bad. Don't forget the neck. Don't forget the neck and draw the head properly as well. And then if you extend the body straight, kind of want this arm to also reach around this point. And then if I extend it, it's also just see a tiny bit short, a tiny bit on the short end. Overall, it's not bad. For this one, you are okay, I have to emphasize that the line of action goes through the entire body. So look at these examples. It goes all the way from the head to the end of the feet, right? For this one, it also goes from the head to the end of the feet, and this one as well. And then for this one, your line of action only goes through the torso. We want it to go through the entire body. That's the line of action. So Angela, you want to fix it. You want to maybe redo it. For this one, yeah, you're following the line of action fine. I think you can push it a little more. So I know for my line, I drew it. So for example, you can tilt the head a bit more. You can push the hips out a tiny bit more. But overall, yeah, you're following the concept decent, pretty well. Arm is a bit long, a bit too long. So it goes almost, if you extend it, it almost touches the knee, and then we want it to be shorter, both arms. Goes for both arms. The upper torso could be shorter, and the pelvis a little bigger. So I will put the belly button around here. Okay, Claire. Yeah, you're following the line of action pretty well. That is good. First off, make sure you do draw the head and the neck and the shoulders. They're three separate, think of them as three separate things. The head, it's the head. The neck, it's its own neck. And then it's the shoulders. Don't think of the torso as a shape, like the upper torso as a shape like this that connects to the neck. Think of the neck as like an arm. Think of it as a separate thing. Because it is, so the rib cage, if the rib cage is here, here's your clavicle, which is like your collarbone. And then over here, the neck has it does connect, have muscles that connects to the torso, but it also has a lot of like individual muscles. And then try to think of it as an individual thing. I think the two arms are not the same size. And they're both very big compared to the torso and the leg. So if this is the upper torso, this is the lower torso, and then you go to the leg. So you want to push the leg down a bit because you didn't draw the lower torso. You kind of just drew the upper torso and then went straight to the legs. And then if you do that, the knee is here. If you revolve this around a pivot point, you'll notice that the arm is a bit long. Same with this one. If you extend it out and then you put the body forward, I think the arm is too big. Let me check back to my line for the first one. The line of action I drew for the first one. Is this is this the first one? First off, it's pointing towards the other direction. And then second off, the line is very straight when you copied it down. Jasmine? So the line I drew, I think has more of a curve to it. And then you kind of straightened it out. Overall, the proportions and stuff, it's not bad, but it's just I wish you would push the pose a little more. And then follow the line a little more.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Fine. Arm is a little thick, this arm. Okay, Alex? Alex? Alex, first off, you're not following the line of action. So I can see that maybe you intend to. You can, for this pose, you can make this pose follow it. If you would just push this leg a bit more, and then this head this way a bit more, like that. And also the arms are too short. I think that is your problem with your other homework as well. You try the arms too short. Okay, you can follow the line with this pose. I think you can't use this pose. It's just you want to follow the line of action. Right now it's pretty straight up and down. For this one, again, if I were to draw a line of action on your picture, I would maybe draw it like this, or maybe not even. So try to push the pose a little more. Let's look at my third line. So yeah, one thing is you didn't copy down my line correctly enough. You copy down my line really straight. It looks really straight. When I actually drew the line kind of like this, that's one thing. So you want to push it. You can't have it. You can't have this leg out. You can't do it like this. This pose is fine. Okay, but I just need you to follow the line of action and push the motion a little more. For this one, who is it? For this one, I can't tell. I can't tell which line it is. And right now it just looks like maybe the subtlest curve like this. And draw the whole body, draw the whole body. Don't call it done before you draw the whole body. Draw the feet, draw the hands. Daniela? First off, also try to think of the neck as its own like little cylinder. Like think of it as a little cup, a mug without a handle, like this. Think of it like that, but just, you know, a mug, just without the handle, and then it goes to the shoulders. It's not a little shape like this, okay? It's a cylinder. The neck is a cylinder. Upper body is a little too big compared to the lower body, so I would say make the legs longer. And also right now, again, I think I drew the first line, the action a little bigger. Don't try to reduce. Try to copy down the line properly. Don't try to reduce the action. I need to push it a little more. And then this one, it's still really stiff. If I didn't see the line going down the middle, and then if I were to just draw my own line, trying to see where your line of action is, I actually just draw it like this, okay? Faye. Faye. One leg is longer than the other leg. So this is where this leg attaches to the torso, and this is where this leg attaches to the torso. And this leg, because the torso is tilted like this one, if these two still end up being the same, you can tell that this one is longer than this one, right? Because this one attaches higher. It's not, you don't just only consider where it ends, you have to also consider where it attaches. This pose kind of looks like a triangle, but it is a curve, this line of action. But how you drew it is kind of like, let's say it's like this. So try to push the curve of the motion more. And the arms are a bit short. Okay. For this one, you are following the S curve. Think you can make it a little more. Push the head a little more. Push this one a little more out. Try to draw the hands. I know hands are really hard, but like try to pinch in the wrist because your wrist is a little smaller than your hand. Try to pinch in your wrist and then draw the hand, even just as like a little glove shape. That's fine, at least try. And then also with your ankle, try to pinch in the ankle a little more because your ankle is pretty thin. And then the feet is, try to draw the feet a little bigger. Okay, yeah, Alex, this is a lot better. So it's a lot better. I still think not only with the leg, you can also push the head to follow the line. And I also do think that you also made the line that I gave too straight when you copied it on. I think I gave a line that's something more like this, and you made it a little too straight. So I maybe push the head too. And then the hands are too small. Try to draw the hands. Try to draw where the knee is. Okay. For this one, I can't tell. Again, you want your line of action to carry through the entire body, not just the torso of it, okay? You kind of want it to go, if it's going from the tip of a finger to the tip of your toes, or the tip of your head to the tip of your toes, or try to carry it along the entire body instead of just, right now it's barely in the torso, barely in the torso. Right now, if I were to say, I'd say it still kind of looks like a straight line. If your Apple Pencil keeps disconnecting, see if it's out of battery. I don't know which model you have. One thing is it might be out of battery. One thing it might be because your tip is too loose. Your Apple Pencil tip is too loose. And then another reason is maybe your Apple Pencil like is old. I think my old Apple Pencil also had that problem when everything else was normal. So you might want to check that, or if you dropped it too many times. For this one, again, for the line of action, one is for number 4. Let me check what I did for number 4. Right now for number 4, if I were to draw, I'd draw a person that bends down completely, maybe with the hands extended, standing like this. I would draw something like that to carry out the line throughout the entire body. Right now it's kind of there with the upper torso, but also even that, it's not really. If you look at the overall motion, it just looks like this, okay? Okay, guys, complete this assignment later. Complete this assignment later if you have not yet completed it. Or like if I gave you critique already, you can try to improve and fix it later. But we're gonna continue the class. So I'm gonna go back to the PowerPoint. Everybody stop drawing, please. Hello, everybody, okay. So right now we're done this, and now we're gonna quickly go over the face. We have 40 minutes left of the class, and then we're gonna use it to go over the face. And then for this part, I do have some interaction things planned, and then I hope you guys would turn on your mic or something to try and participate. So, you know, we're looking at a lot of body expressions, looked at how to express motion, express emotions through the body. And then right now we want to further expressions, and then we want to go to the face. So the face, it's very expressive, right? And then when you look at someone, you look at the face, a person's face to see if they're happy, if they're sad. And then there's a lot of micro expressions and big expressions that you can read from the face. So first off, this part, I'm going to draw it. You guys can draw along if you want, you don't have to. But look to my iPad if you can, and then I'm going to draw the basic structure and talk about the basic structure of a face. So the face, I say the face, but it's actually the entire head. It consists of actually 2 parts. One is your skull, like the back of your head, your overall head part of your head, the part that holds your brain. That part is kind of like a ball. It's pretty much a ball. Okay, and then attaching onto that part is a shape like this. And then overall kind of looks like an almondish shape like this. Everybody's face shape is a little different. Some people have more square, some people more round. Overall, it's like this. It's 2 parts, so you have to remember that. This is part 1, the back part, and then the face part. And then right now when you have this, you want to divide this entire head. Okay, you want to divide this in half. around the halfway point. So once you divide it in half, around this halfway point, this portion is your face portion. And then this portion, let's just call it the head portion. And then the face portion has your eyes, your eyebrows maybe go a little bit on top, has your eyes, your nose, your mouth, and everything, mostly your face, mostly happens here. And then your hair, your forehead, those stuff, that happens in the head region. So right now you take the face region and then you want to divide the face region in half again at this point. That'll be around here. And then that'll be where your nose is, where your nose ends, where your nostrils are. Again, everybody is a little different, but that's generally, on average, how it is, okay? And then now you have this little part from your nose to your chin. And then you want to divide this part in half again. And then you want to divide this in half and go up a little, just a little bit around here. And that'll be where your mouth is. So your lips actually form kind of a shape like this. Some people it's more prominent. Some people it's less. But basically over here, here's a ball. And then here's kind of a ball. Who's still sending stuff in WeChat? Listen to class right now. Stop drawing. Off-centered. Okay, and then right now the eyes is around this line. It's a little bit, I would draw it a little bit below it. Again, everybody is different, but I think it's just below or around this line. Remember that the eye is a ball, so your eyeball is called eyeball because it's actually a ball. It looks like this, and this is your iris. Looks like that, and then your eyelids kind of close around it. Okay, so on the side, it's still a ball. Your little iris is here. Your eyelids close around it like this. And then your face follows. I'll draw a side profile to beside this. And then between the two eyes, this distance, you'll find that it's about another eye. It's about the distance of one more eye. Everybody is a little different, but on average, it's just about one eye between the two eyes. Okay, and then above the eyes, we have eyebrows. Some people have higher eyebrows, some people have lower eyebrows, some people have eyebrows that are symmetrical, some people have unibrows. It's kind of there, and then your eyes in the socket. Okay? Face is a little off-centered. Somewhere in center. Okay, and then now I want you guys to do something. So put your hand to the sides of your nose, and then try to draw a straight line all the way to your ear. And then you'll find that the end of your ear is around where your nose is. Some people have a high, some people have a lower, but on average it's around there. And then from the corners of your eye, also take your fingers to your face, from the corners of your eye, drag a line back. And that should be around where your ear starts. Something like that. Okay, and then now let's move on to the head part. So everybody have different hairlines. Some people don't have hairlines when they're bald, but just on average, the hairline is around the middle of the head portion, like this upper portion. Well, let's start the hairline there. Okay. And then the neck. The neck on a realistically is pretty thick. Later when we want to stylize it, you can draw it thinner so it looks prettier. But realistically, it goes around the chin. Here's the jawline. Around where the eye is, kind of around here. And then that's kind of the thickness and where the neck is. Okay? So this is the basic proportions of our front-facing human face. And then right now, beside it, I'm going to draw a side profile. So just like when you change the view of a body, when you look at Timmy from the side instead of looking at Timmy from the front, Timmy's head will not get any bigger or smaller. Timmy's proportions will remain the same, even if you look at Timmy from the side or from the front. Just like that with the face too. The proportions of the head to face portion ratio is going to stay the same. So let's extend that. Let's make sure that it stays the same. In the side profile, the head still consists of this ball shape, and then the face shape attached to it. So this is the ball, and this is, if you pat your head, that would be the back of your head. And then your face is kind of like this shape. That attaches to this ball. And then for this ball, it doesn't, for your jawline where it ends, it doesn't end right in the middle of it or to the front of it. So if you split off in the middle, it ends kind of towards the back, just a tad towards the back. And then everything else is still, the proportions remain the same. So this part will still be the face part, and this part will still be the head part. And then we still divide the face part in half, and then that's where the nose is. And then we divide this part, and that's still where the lips are. And then the eye, as I've said before, the eye on the front is a ball, on the side still just a ball with your eyelids kind of like making an opening like this to it. And then on top of the eyes, we have the eyebrows. Some people have a higher nose bridge, some people have a lower one. But the nose bridge, so like this part, the curve of the nose, it's going to be higher than the rest of the face. Like, or else it'll look really weird if you draw the nose like this, if it's too low. So if this line marks the face, the nose bridge should be slightly higher at least. And then the ear still starts when the eye from the edge of the eye, and then from the end of the nose. And then the hairline, still the same. My hair has some kind of thickness to it, so don't draw it like glued on to the skull. The scalp. I'm gonna give this person. And then for the neck, there's a little skin, a little muscle connecting it. And then this distance, it's just a bit longer than what most people would draw it like. So it's kind of between the ear and the eye, somewhere here. And then the neck is supporting the weight of the head, like that. Okay, so this would be kind of the proportions, overall proportions of a front-facing face and a side profile. Did anyone draw along? Okay, turn your attention back to the PowerPoint. Let's keep going. So if you drew along, good. If you didn't, you should maybe on your own time try to practice it. And then right now, after we learn the basic proportions of a realistic face, we want to draw the face so we could express expressions with it, right? And right now, there are some basic expressions that I listed. The face is capable of so many different types of expressions, micro expressions, tiny things that humans can look at each other and decipher. But we can't go over all of them. So then like there are some really prominent expressions that we can look at. For example, happiness, anger, sadness, disgust, fear. And I added in surprise because surprise is also a pretty prominent and very obvious type of expression that you can notice. And then right now we're going to go on to do a little exercise. So as you can see here on my PowerPoint, I have a chart. A A, B, C, D, E, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chart with different expressions. And then I want you guys to participate, try to participate. And then once when I say we're looking for happy expressions, I want you guys to pick out the happy ones from the chart. And then we could go over each one and see how it is happy and why we would decipher an expression like this as happy. So for example, if I think 2A is happy, I will say, okay, number 2, and then A, and that'll be the quadrant of it. Okay, if I think 1A is happy, I'd say 1A, so here. And then this one will be B3, something like that. So right now we're going over happy. So I'd appreciate if you guys would turn on your mic. And let's participate a little bit. Okay. Anyone? Just shout it out. Just name name one that you think is happy.
4C.
Pardon me?
4C.
4C.
4E.
4C. And then 4E.
4E.
Yeah.
2A. 2A.
2A.
5A.
1B.
1B.
2B.
2B. Yep.
4B?
4B. Sure.
D4.
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 B4.
D4.
D4.
Wait,
Yeah. Mildly. Don't know. Boarding on.
4.
4.
4E.
4E. Yep. You mentioned that one. Any more?
5E.
5E.
2D. Not really happy, but like sort of embarrassed.
Embarrassed. Okay, let's go over some of these. So we have talked about
1D.
Okay, so from the first row, we have talked about 1B, right? And 1B, it's obviously a pretty happy one. We can all agree that this one looks happy. Why is it happy? It's happy because the wide smile, right? This person is kind of laughing. They have their mouth open, their teeth is showing, and they're laughing so hard that when your smile, so like when your mouth pushes up, it kind of, the muscle kind of pushes up to your eye, which is why the eye, sometimes some people, when they smile, their eyes kind of go into like a little line, a curved line, and squishes together like that. And then the eyebrows are actually turned downwards, but they're still raised quite high up. They're not very close to the eye. They're still quite further away from the eye. So the eyebrows are a little raised. So 1B looks happy. And then what's the next one? 2A. We said 2A also looks happy, right? 2A also has the mouth wide open. And then this one, the eyes is also wide open. This one, the mouth does push a little bit to the bottom of the eye, but then this person is so happy that they want to see what's going on. They have sparkles. The eyebrows
Blush.
are raised. Yeah. Okay. And then 2D, I put it in embarrassed, so I'm not gonna say it now. And then row 3 is all different emotions. Row 4, 4C, this one is also obviously really happy, right? This is such a typical smiley face. You have the mouth in a wide smile, the mouth is turned, corners of the mouth is turned upwards, and then it's pushing the eye into 2 little lines. And then you have the upturned eyebrows, and that's raised pretty high. And then 4E is also happy. This is like kind of like a mild, looking at puppies kind of happiness, where you have the corners of the mouth turned up, and the eyes kind of squinty, but not really too squinty. You can still see the eyeballs. And then the eyebrows are raised, and then they're still turned up, but then they're kind of relaxed, pretty relaxed. Right, so I think these are the most prominent, happy expressions that we can see from this chart. So let's move on to the next one. Anger. Again, you guys can just shout it out. Go after the ones that you think looks angry.
2E.
3.
3B.
3B. A4.
E, 2E,
4D.
C4. I mean C5.
5E.
3, 5,
5C.
2E,
5B.
5E.
E2.
E, E2,
A4.
E4,
4A-ish.
4D.
we're a little surprised-ish. 5B, yeah, a little.
C5.
E5.
5,
3B.
3B, yeah. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Okay, good. These are all really good. There's a lot of kind of angry expressions on this expression chart. So let's go over them. Why do we think they are angry? So one is 2E, right? This one is kind of like embarrassed as well, but then it's kind of like anger from the embarrassment. So like you're so embarrassed that you're angry. You do have the downturned eyebrows. They're pushing really far into the eyes, right? This one, like they're touching the eyes. They're pushing really far into the eyes. The eyes are kind of, and then because the eyebrows are being pushed down to the eyes are not round. They're a little bit squished and squinty and slits. And then the eyebrows are downturned. The front part of the eyebrow is being turned down. And that's kind of the difference later when we see sadness. When we see sadness, we'll notice that's the back part, usually the back part of the eyebrows that are turned down. So for anger, it's the front part. And then the corners of the mouth are pointing down, usually, instead of pointing up, like in happiness or in other emotions. Okay, another one, A3. This one is also, I guess, mild anger. You do have the downturned eyebrows. The eyes are kind of squished together, and the downturned corners of the mouth. 3B is a pretty obvious angry one. You have the slit eyes, you have the eyebrows downturned and being pushed into the eyes. You have the downturned corners.
It looks more grumpy than angry.
Yeah, anger, similar expressions, kind of like that. And then another one, somebody said B4. This is kind of mockery. So we're gonna skip it. And then A4 is surprised. B5. B5 is a bit angry. You do have the slit eyes, the downturned eyebrows. It's more just like looking at something that's kind of, I don't know, incomprehensible like that. C5 is a bit angry. It's also impatient kind of expressions. We have the downturned eyebrows. So this person has their eyes closed, and then kind of an indignant kind of mouth shape, kind of puckered up a little bit and downturned. And then E5. E5, somebody also did say E5. E5, yeah, I guess it's a bit of anger, but it's also kind of like, okay, game on, like challenge accepted kind of anger. So you have the upturned mouth. All right, sadness. Name the ones that you think expresses sadness.
3E.
5D. 5D.
3E, obviously.
3D.
D,
D1.
3C.
3A,
D1.
D1,
D. 5D.
C5-ish, kind of.
5D, we said 5D. Yeah, we said E3. Okay, yeah, those are the more obviously sadness. Let's go over them to that. I'm going to clear the drawings. Clear the drawings. Okay. All right. So we did say C1 a little bit. C1 is kind of awkward, kind of sadness. So we also, again, as I said before, we also have downturned eyebrows, but this time for sadness, it's not the top of the eyebrows, not the tip, not the beginning of it. That's more downturned, but more the side of it that's pointing down.
I
Right.
feel like 1D is holding in tears.
1D. Oh, I guess you could interpret that way. Yeah, kind of holding in tears. Yeah, you also have eyebrows kind of forced down, pinched together. And then we also have a very obvious one, 3E. This person is crying and they're looking away. The eyes for sadness is very expressive. Okay, I'm going to, if you're doodling on it, I'm going to turn off the annotate, okay? Please don't doodle on it. And then you have the eyebrows turned together. The eyes are looking away. They're avoiding the sight of whoever is facing them. And then you have the downturned corners of the mouth. And then another one is 5D that a lot of people mentioned. 5D is also, it's also a really typical sad face kind of. You have the ends of the eyebrows downturned. This one the eyes are closed, and then the corners of the mouth is kind of like a sigh, kind of a mild kind of sadness, where this one is like crying kind of sadness. And this one is like kind of an awkward or fear, a little bit kind of saddish. The eyes do have a lot of freedom with sadness. Sadness is, there's a wide range, just as there's a wide range of different emotions as well. You can be mildly happy, you can be very, very, very happy. You can be mildly angry, you can be so angry, you have to flip a table. Same with sadness. Okay, disgust. Name the ones that's kind of like disgust.
3D.
Maybe a little bit. I'd say this one is more angry. But yeah, I guess you can say that it's disgust.
3C?
3C.
1C.
1C, yeah, 1C is a pretty good one. 5.
3A.
3A, a little bit.
3C.
5B, maybe.
3C. 5D.
2D.
5D. 5.
2D. Maybe that's more embarrassed, I'd say.
1D.
1D.
Like that feeling where somebody gives it to you and you want to say, oh, this tastes good, but it doesn't taste good at all.
I guess.
4B.
3C.
3C, yep. 4B.
B.
Yeah, a little bit. It's also different interpretations of it. Disgust, as I said here, it's quite similar to anger. Like some of the ones did overlap with some of the ones that you guys said is like anger. And then, but for disgust, notice the eye direction is quite important. So for example, the ones that we named for C, 1C, this one, the eye isn't, it's not really looking directly at the item. When you're so disgusted, you kind of want to avoid it, or like you either want to avoid it with your eye or you want to avoid it with your body. When you're avoiding it with your eye, you're not looking directly at it. When you're avoiding it with your body, your eye is on it, but your body is kind of turned away. So your eye direction is never really, when you're so disgusted, your eye direction is never really just staring directly at the front. Like it happens, but like usually it's kind of side-eyeing. The eye direction is really important when you're trying to express disgust. I also said 3C, this one too, right? You see I'm kind of looking down. Somebody mentioned this one. This one mildly a little bit. Yeah. Okay, next one, fear.
2C.
C, yeah.
C3.
C3.
3D.
3D, yeah. These two are both a bit fear.
E1.
E1, this one, yeah. That's a pretty good shock or fear kind of face. This one I wouldn't say. 4B I wouldn't say is fear.
Okay.
Well, I guess it could be a bit. Depends on interpretation. Maybe 5A, this one as well. It's kind of a mild kind of fear. So yeah, there are also many types and different degrees of fear. You have like embarrassment is a type of fear. You're scared of embarrassing yourself. You're scared of doing something really dumb in public, in front of people, like that. And then you also have like being totally frightened, surprised, shocked by something. And then there's a big range. So usually when you're afraid and then when you're shocked, your eyes are pretty wide open. You want to take in what's going on. You want to know the situation, right? You got this one. The eyes are really round, wide open, round, wide open eyes, round, wide open eyes. This one is kind of fear for side-eyeing something that's kind of far away. This one doesn't have wide open eyes, but this one is also fear. And this one is kind of a mild, a little bit of embarrassment type. But yeah. Okay. Next. Surprise. This one also does have a lot of overlaps with anger and with fear and with the other emotions that we've talked about. You can be happily surprised, or you can be like really shocked and badly surprised.
A2.
A2, kind of a happy surprise.
1A.
1A, yeah, it's kind of like, huh? Kind of questioning. E1, yeah, this one is also surprised. B2 is good. A4, yep, that's a surprise. That's also like, what's going on? D3 is like receiving bad news kind of surprise. So, different types of being surprised, different types. But when you're surprised, when something comes at you and then you're a little shocked, your mind needs some time to process it. Usually your eyes are, again, like fear, your eyes are pretty wide open, right? Like 1A. And then E, the sun, the sun, the sun, the sun, the sun. The sun is surprised, not really that surprised, a little bit. And the sun too. The eyes are all kind of wide open. Your mind needs to process it. Your eyes are trying to take in what's happening. And then your jaw is often dropped. It doesn't have to be, but like very often, you kind of, when you're surprised, you kind of lose control of your like expression control, and then you drop your jaw, your mouth gets slightly opened. As you can see, 1A, and this one, yeah. Okay, next, let me clear the annotations. So right now it is 1:53. We have 7 minutes left until the end of the class. And then we're going to, this is the final assignment. So next class, we're going to get into character design. We're going to, right now we've learned all the rules, right? We learned how the proper rules of drawing a human body. We learned how to pose the body. We learned how to draw a face. We learned what different expressions will look like. And the next class, we want to twist these rules and bend it, and then we're gonna get into character design. It'll be something fun. But today we have one last exercise, and then for now we still want to stick with the things that we've learned and the realistic things. So I want you guys to come up with a pose and a facial expression so that both agrees with the situation that's going on. You don't want to just express with the facial expression, and you don't want to just express with the body expressions, the body language. You want to combine both. And then right now I've listed some situations. You can pick one from it and pick one. These are the prompts that you have. Pick one, and this will be your final homework. And then it will be due next class, the beginning of the next class on Tuesday. And then I'll go over it the same as how I went over the homework, the big homework from the previous class. So right now, come up with a pose and a facial expression. The situations here are, first, your ice cream dropped on the ground. You only ate like one bite of it and it dropped on the ground and you can't eat it anymore. Or you got 100% on the test and you studied really hard for it. You think your efforts got paid off. You should be really happy about it. You're proud, and then you want to tell people, okay? And then, or there's a huge spider and it's actually huge. It's fluffy, and then it has like bright colors. It's probably poisonous. You're really scared. Your mom broke your favorite toy. Your mom broke your favorite toy, and then like you're like, Mom, why could you do this? And then your mom is like, oh, it's just a toy. And it's just like you're like, you feel really wrong. And it's your favorite toy. It's been with you for so long. And then you almost got ran over by a car. So you're on the street, you're crossing the street. It is your right of way. You're not doing anything wrong, but this like, I don't know, a drunk driver, it comes up, and then you almost got ran over by it, and then you're shocked, you're scared, and you're angry. Like your mind needs a moment to process that you just almost died. Okay, and next, you found a stinky dead rat underneath your bed. Ew, it's so gross, and then it's like, it's stinky, and it's moldy, and then you see like maggots and worms crawling on top of it. It's actually disgusting. You want to throw it out, but you also don't want to touch it. And then you're eating your favorite fruit on a summer's day. You're relaxed. It's a sunny day, and then there's a light breeze going on, and then you're eating your favorite fruit. Maybe you have your sunglasses on, and you're just enjoying. And then the last one, you accidentally drank vodka instead of juice, and then now you're really drunk. Now you don't know what's going on, and then you're confused, and you're acting drunk. Okay, these are the prompts. Follow the instructions. You have to come up with a pose and a facial expressions, and then you have to pick one from the list. All right, and then make sure that both the pose and the facial expressions work with the situation. They both should work. And then keep in mind the things that we've learned. Keep in mind the body proportions. Keep in mind the things that I've talked about with the line of action. And then keep in mind everything that we've learned with the proportions of the face and the facial expressions. All right. Also spend some time and effort into this assignment. Try to properly draw the hands and the feet. Try to properly draw the face now that we've learned it. And then 4 minutes left. I will start a demo, but I'll finish it later, and then I'll just post it into the group chat. Then you guys can also start it now. The prompt I want to pick is I got 100% on the test.
Just wait, does this look okay as a base?
What is it?
Or got 100% on the test?
Yeah, I think I pushed the line of action a little more. I think you're on the right track.
Okay. Easton.
I'm doing some little sketches of ideas for poses to see which one I like the best before I actually start the cleanup.
For the expressions, do we have to do like a realistic face or can we do like a cartoonish face?
You can go a little bit cartoonish.
Okay, so like eyes wider than natural.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, I'll finish off mine later and then I'll post it to the WeChat group. But right now you guys can continue to work on it. It's not due today, it's due next class, beginning of next class, okay? I'll go over and critique it the beginning of next class.
When is next class?
Next class is Tuesday, same time as the last Tuesday, as this Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay, see you guys then. Bye-bye.
Bye.